This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Oh boy, I feel bad for you. You have to deal with me first thing 8 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. I apologize. If you're tuning in via notification or via the subscription box, first thing like between 8 a.m. and 8:05, I'm sorry that you're starting my day with me. Man, I'm a rough guy to start the day with on a weekend, let alone a weekday. And I'm not trying to insult myself because I know right now as you're watching this come out at 8:05 in the morning is I'm struggling walking into work to just keep my eyes open after driving for half an hour. So, folks, hope you have a great day of work. Hope you have a great day of school, whatever you're doing today. I hope it's a great Monday. Maybe you're one of those rare people that gets like Monday off and you work Tuesday to Saturday. That's not a bad schedule, honestly. I'd like to have a business day off every week. That would not be a bad go at all. However, friends, today at noon we'll find out the fate of like I think 43 players who were on NHL waivers today. Let me actually check the hockey guy's video from yesterday. He had a video up where he was talking about how many guys were on waivers. Yeah, 43 players were on waivers. Today, as Oilers fans, we will find out the fate of Greg McKegg, the Edmonton Oiler, who was on waivers, put on waivers at least yesterday, and will be either cleared or claimed sometime today around that 11:58 to 12:02 window when Elliot Friedman, Frank Saravalli, Chris Johnson, they all get their tweets out up and about it. Anyway, folks, if you're new to the channel and you want to consider doing me a favor on a Monday morning and really get me going by break time, I imagine by break time Monday morning I'll be sitting at 8,934 subscribers. So if you'd be interested in trying to be one of those last few people under the 9,000 cap, that'd be really cool of you. And of course, Monday morning, hopefully I'm talking to quite a broad audience of Oilers fans that I don't normally reach. So consider subscribing, stick around. Take the next 5-10 minutes as a trial run. I don't want you to click that button right now. Don't do it right now. Do it before the end of the video when you've made up your mind fully. That said, today, folks, there's a player on waivers. That's where we're going with this. I did have a plan for this. I almost forgot it myself. But we have a plan for this in Radim Zohorna, I believe is how you would say it. I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll get confirmation, I'm sure, by somebody in the comments section tonight or this morning or whatever. He's from the Czech Republic, so I very well could have screwed that up. I am terrible with names from the Czech Republic. Actually, Czechia. Sorry, it's now Czechia. Again, sorry, that's again. My bad. Folks, pardon me. Anyway, let's get back on track here and go talk about Zohorna, who, if I could find his hockey reference, we could really pull up some stats here. I'm not going to bother getting things going. I'm doing this a little bit later in the evening, just before supper here on Sunday, so I will pull him up and we'll get him some information. The reason we're talking about him I'll get to in a moment. 6'6", 220-pound guy. He is at now, his birth date is, he's 27 almost 27, like 26 and a half years old. But the reason we're talking about him is we go to friend of the channel here on Dolynny TV over on Twitter, at Shay_Nuge93 on Twitter. Why are we talking about this guy? Well, because he has this tweet on Jonathan Willis's tweet about Zohorna, who's on a one-year deal at $750K. Simply put, it's mentioned by Shay there that Stauffer continues to talk about a big winger. If he's available for cheap and is on the waiver wire, the Oilers may look at claiming him. Now, this is kind of counterproductive when you're talking about having Jake Virtanen at camp, and he's supposed to fill this slot. But again, in the Oilers, if they can find somebody that's going to fill that slot already under contract, they can really get this done and have to make a choice on a guy. That's not necessarily for them a bad thing at all. And this is kind of what Shay's getting at here, is just simply put, talking about, well, this is a guy that fits that build that Stauffer's after. And we know usually when Bob Stauffer talks about what the Oilers' plans are, that is an actual official, some kind of plan, or was a plan, or is part of the plan somewhere in the lay of the land. So that's, for the Oilers, a really interesting thing to see a 6'6", 220-pound hockey player come up and be available in the NHL waiver wire just before camp. Now you talk about who else would you have to send down. There's a lot of guys, but A guy that over the course of his career, he's played 2 seasons in the NHL, a combined total 25 games, and has scored 10 points. This is a guy that has a big time ability. He's a guy that can definitely score you points, and I think over, if I go down here and we get the NHL, where is it? NHL rate metrics, or is it the, where is it on here? NHL possession metrics, NHL extra stats, sorry. This is a guy that averages out to score 33 points in a season, puts up 56 shots, a total of 115 total shot attempts, and let's see, guy that also takes a couple of face-offs. Like, we're not talking a massive amount of face-offs, but ends up taking a couple for sure. He's listed as a center most times according to Twitter as well, but a guy that's about 45% in the face-off dot in his career, but he likes to throw the body. 23 hits in 17 games played last year with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that's something to keep in mind there too, is the fact that he could be very important for the Oilers in that 6'6", 220 physicality role that so many Oilers fans are looking for the Oilers to fill before the season starts. So that is today, of course, why I'm talking to you at 8 a.m. in the morning. Oop, no, I've gotten into a lot of trouble over the course of my life for saying what I just said there. 8 in the morning, that's why I'm talking to you, is because this is a guy today that, right, we have to have on the radar just as we approach noon. Because if there's going to be an Oilers move that kind of is newsworthy today, I would assume, other than unless there's a breaking trade that nobody's rumored before 5 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, is simply put that Zohorna would be the move. Zohorna would be the news himself, because he fits the profile of what Bob Stauffer has apparently been talking about. And secondary to that is a guy that is pretty useful on the waiver wire, right? 6'6" doesn't come around every day in the NHL, especially when you're talking about a winger. And secondary to that is a guy that could be very useful for you in that physicality role. He fits a lot of boxes for the Edmonton Oilers. So you got to imagine that if there is going to be any news for the Oilers today, it's going to be out of Zohorna. And the only problem is he's a left wing, kind of left shot kind of guy. That sucks. But if you're talking about putting Warren Foegele on the right wing, why couldn't you put this guy on the right wing on the fourth line and just let him rip around out there and be a chaos creator for the Oilers? Or do you just then, in that scenario, it's actually Derek Ryan who makes the opening night roster, and it's Zohorna who goes over to the left side instead of Janmark? I couldn't tell you, right? This is way too many hypotheticals for a guy that more than likely will pass through waivers today at noon. The Oilers more than likely won't put a claim in, and even if they do put a claim in, aren't necessarily in the pecking order in the waiver wire to get him based on their claim. Somebody may be ahead of them. So there's a lot that has to go right here in the next 4-ish hours before the waivers come on down. But folks, you know what, my friends? We'll figure it out. It's just one of those things. I thought, why not try and reach an audience on a Monday morning, right? We've got potentially a live stream coming up at 7 o'clock tonight between the Canucks and Oilers, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. This is really fun. I get to talk like it's still Sunday, and I also get to talk like it's also Monday. So this has been a really fun video for me. I'm just humoring myself at this point, sorry. But right, 7 o'clock, so there isn't much else I'm going to be able to achieve when I come home tonight. Is simply I'll come home, eat dinner, get water poured, get the stream scheduled, and that'll be it. That'll be all. We'll be off to watching the Oilers and Canucks on Sportsnet 1 tonight at 7 p.m. Folks, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Really appreciate you just spending your morning with me. And I hope that I'm not the worst possible way you could have woke up today. I think I'm up there. I'm in the top 10 at least. I'm in the top 10. I guarantee it. I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here. Good morning.